Hello world, welcome back to Ghostly French Toast. And today we are doing a new series. And this series is Dark Souls, because this is one of my new favorite games. It's probably my top 10, and I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite bosses in Dark Souls, and that is the Abyss Watchers. So, enough dawdling around, and let's dive on in. First, you basically find the Abyss Watchers after you make your way. Basically, you have to fight your way. If you want to, it's an optional boss. You can fight Crystal Sage. Then you make your way down a long ladder into Farron's Keep, but basically a giant toxic swamp, which everyone hates, and for good reason. Once you have to basically put out some fires, and then a big door opens, which basically allows you to get access to fight for the Abyss Watchers. Once the Abyss Watchers fight starts, one Abyss Watcher basically has the main one that you have to keep, and then more start to spawn. At 3's maximum that will spawn. And once the third one basically teams up with you to basically kill the second and the first one. But most likely he will die. You can use that to heal, smash him, that's basically just, this is a lore video, so I'm gonna start getting the lore. Because personally, I think these guys have some pretty neat lore. The Abyss Watchers were basically the main line of defense for basically Farron. Basically now Farron Keep. They were the Undead Legion of Farron Keep. They basically took inspiration from Sartorius the Abyss Walker. You basically fight him in the OG Dark Souls for the DLC. And how he basically fought the Abyss and basically tried to vanquish it from the world. And the Abyss Watchers did the same thing that Artorias did, was use wolf blood, which basically enhanced their ability. And now, equipped with the strength of Artorias, became intensely strong and agile, fighting in coordinated and packs akin to wolves. Because, wolf blood, all that fun stuff. Though they, meant good and all that, their practices were kind of extreme. If they saw one tiny bit of the Abyss, and basically out of the Abyss, the Watchers would go so far to raise a country to the ground. Their distinct outfits topped with a tall pointed helm became an ill omen for anyone who saw them, basically knowing that they were about to get killed or their home was about to get destroyed. Their Wolfblood fighting style was enhanced by a revolutionary use of an ultra great sword modeled after a Taurus one. And you can get the Artorias Greatsword it's like this boss soul for the Abyss Watchers fight. Fun fact. Artorias' sword, along with a cloaked dagger, utilizing the dagger as a basically fulcrum to develop their own techniques to make them different from Artorias. And you can see how they do it with their flips and their extravagant charges that basically differentiate themselves from Artorias and how he fought, but kind of kept the same. They're not really a defensive type. They mostly go on the aggression. So that's why when you see Hogwood the Deserter, he basically left the Abyss Legion and used the shield. And his quest continues. And once you make your way to Archdragon Peak, once you fight the Ancient Wyvern and all of that, he can be able to summon, but when you summon him for the Nameless King fight, he disappears because Hawkwood the Deserter, you get it, gamers. It's kind of like a play on his name. And you see that Hawkwood basically went on the defensive and started using a shield, and he kind of received mockery. From the Abyss Legion and all his comrades, basically, and that's one of the reasons he left. Their Wolfblood did more than enhance their bodies, but their very essence. For all those who partook in it, they were linked to the soul of Artorias himself. As such, instead of basically each body hosting distinct souls, they all partook in the Wolfblood, sharing their one soul distributed between them. We kind of see that with the boss soul description, that their Wolfblood, it's all the Abyss Legion's soul. And we kind of see that in the second phase. Fun fact about the second phase. In the beginning of the first phase of the Abyss Watchers fight, I was reading the comments for one of the soundtracks, And someone pointed out that the Abyss Watchers were basically, the music for the Abyss Watchers, the choir was all distorted, chaotic, but in the second phase, when all the wolf blood is transferred into one singular body, they become together. The choirs all harmonize together. So I think that's a little neat thing. Alright, back to lore. Along with the Abyss Watchers, the complete Undead Legion consists of 2 other levels to assist them. The Abyss Watchers recruited acolytes who provided support via medicine. At some point, they made a pact with terms from the Crystal Sages of the Kingdom of Lothric, who agreed to come to their headquarters in Varen Keep and train their acolytes in the sorceries art due to the Legion's emphasis on speed over physical power. They asked the sorcerers to basically develop a unique variation of the existing sorceries for the acolytes to use. Some made by Zangus, the scholar named Hazel, the daughter of the head acolyte, and refined even further than that. Perhaps most telling of all was their fall. In the fall were the number of foot soldiers tasked with the convert disposal of corrupt members, as these Abyss Watchers slowly altered them. The followers, quote-unquote, as they were called, would be sent to execute them. Before they're transformed into creatures, their primary technique was surround target, burning them, stabbing, and finishing them with honor by throwing a spear at them. Eventually, the Watchers became Lords of Cinder and linked to fire. And when they did this, the spirit of the old wolf formed the watchdog of Farron and led the lost souls to protect Varen Keep from being intruded upon. This wolf was basically unable to move. It is thought by some to basically house the wolf blood and where it came from. The reason they did not take this up throne is not certain, but several factors offer clues. Beneath their home in Varen Keep was the room of the Categories Catacombs, which contained Spirit Wolnir, who fell to the Abyss long ago. And once we basically break his rings and all that, he's basically pulled into the Abyss, because the rings were basically keeping him from falling into the Abyss, keeping him driving force. Nearby the Cathedral of the Deep, where the darkness beyond humanity was collected, and bad things occurred. Either one of them mentioned factors, or neither one of them, or even perhaps both, could be the damage to Varen Keep. With nothing left to live, the Abyss Watchers linked to flame. The followers went hollow, roaming the lands, and eventually disappearing into the painted world of Ariandel. Since there were none to basically execute the corrupt acolytes, the Abyss basically came out of, because we know that the Abyss was in the catacombs, and it just slowly spread it upwards, basically making their way into where the Abyss Watchers basically were at the time and started to corrupt them. Once the Abyss Watchers woke from basically being Lords of Cinder, because since the Lothric twins didn't sit on their throne and basically accept that, the Abyss Watchers got up and basically started fighting each other because they saw the Abyss on each other, and what they were meant to do was eradicate the Abyss. So they started to kill each other once, basically, because they want to eradicate all signs of the Abyss. So they keep fighting each other, and that's what you see in the game. Once the Abyss Watchers woke, their home was corrupt and their mission was unsuccessful. They either went mad or were corrupted by the Abyss. Without the followers to execute them, both or perhaps neither, and they were basically left fighting in an endless battle because they keep just getting up and keep fighting with their most powerful foe, each other. So yeah, that's it for this time. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time on Ghostly French Toast. Bye.